Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Isaiah Hill. Sorry that the video yesterday didn't go up. This is the video for today. Don't worry, I'm also going to do a video for today as well. My Let's Play was uploading too at some random times, and it was just so weird. And I thought I uploaded this, but it said it was deleted. So I'm sorry, but here's the real video. I'm going to only talk about the first film of this series, because this is the only one that I really think I have a lot to say. All the other ones I'll give just my rating, like personal. If you guys want to say what your ratings are for this series, by all means go ahead. But I'm just going to talk about the first film. That film's going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. The main reason why I'm going to talk about the first film only is because I feel like I don't have much to say about the last one, because a lot of them are like, a lot of the sequels in my opinion are like feeding off this, except for Dream Warriors, which is my personal favorite of sequel of this. And probably the one that comes closest to the original, mainly because Wes Craven comes back. So, anyway, let's begin. Nightmare on Elm Street stars Heather Lampkin, Robert Englund, it features appearances by Charles Fleischer and Johnny Depp, and I believe this was like his very first role. The interesting thing to note about this film is that it was made by New Line Cinema, and at the time they were struggling like financially. And they needed like a really big hit, and this film, Nightmare on Elm Street, was a big hit for them, and it was often credited as the house Freddy built. Not Hetty, sorry. And if you think about New Line Cinema being saved by a horror icon like Freddy Krueger, it's pretty interesting. Freddy Krueger is played, Mario is played by Robert Englund in all these movies, including a TV show and even like a spinoff where he fights Jason, Freddy vs. Jason. And Nightmare on Elm Street has had sequels, had reboots, had video games, had all sorts of things. You name it, this series had it. And an interesting thing to note about this is just how Nightmare on Elm Street basically came about. Wes Craven said he based it off like, Freddy Krueger was not only supposed to be a murderer, he was also supposed to be like a rapist, like and a serial killer and child molester, but also like a rapist part of it, like I heard got involved. But then they got rid of it because at the time California had like a bunch of child molestations, and they resurfaced that for the reboot, and which I thought was okay. I didn't really care for the reboot. Most of the sequels I don't care about. I find them just lazy and weird. And considering like how I consider like one particular film series to have like not that many good sequels, and I'll get to that one later in the month. But overall, I think the first Nightmare on Elm Street, it should have just stayed the way it was. Even Wes Craven thought it should have been. He did not like how he had to change the ending in order to like make it look like that they were setting up a potential for like sequels. And I agree, because like Back to the Future, like how it ends is a good example. Back to the Future, like how it ends, it's like, are there going to be sequels, or is that just how it's going to end? And Michael J. Fox even said he did not even know they were going to make a sequel of it. And an interesting thing to note about this in particular, Freddy Krueger, what's really interesting is, like, Freddy Krueger, like, Hellraiser, and, Pinhead, and Chucky, they're all part of, like, the Boogeyman collection. And there's a scene from Freddy Krueger, from Nightmare on Elm Street that features Freddy Krueger. And if you want me to do, and I'm going to do a little rundown, Freddy Krueger is the bastard son of 100 maniacs. He's able just to get you in your sleep. They kind of give him much more of a backstory. Like, they give him backstory as like the series goes on, but at times I find it a little silly and a little bit too repetitive. Here, I like not knowing much about him, because I feel like that kind of makes him more scary. I mean, you get like some like interesting things, like how they said how Nancy, of Heather Lampkin's character, his mom explains like how they knew who he was because like all the crimes he did, and Elm Street is not mentioned at all in this movie, and it's really interesting because like when I went back and watched this, I was like, wait, Elm Street was not even mentioned. So it's kind of weird. And yes, there are times where this film is like a little corny. Like there's a scene like where Johnny Depp, he's like looking out like in a vast like land, and he's like, I'm gonna punch out your headlights, whoever you are. And I'm like, that's a little bit too cheesy. That's a little bit not I don't even know what to make of that. But that doesn't distract like how good his performance really is. He does a marvelous job in this movie. This one has like a lot of iconic kills, has like a lot of iconic scares. I actually sat back and I was like, this is actually a little freaky. In this film, it was deemed like really scary. It was big. And Freddy Krueger like worked his way from just being a guy that you dream about and like someone that you're afraid of to being like someone like where you had nightmares of. The first film, like how it builds, it's very slow built, like a little bit. It's kind of slow in the beginning, but then it gets like faster, like what's going to happen. Now the thing is, like with the first film of Nightmare on Elm Street, is that Freddy Krueger, like a lot of people, I heard criticism saying, oh, he just comes off as like a nice guy in a way, and I like that. But Freddy Krueger, like what he does is he terrorizes you enough to where you're going to stay awake and then one day your body is just going to collapse. And that's what he's really waiting for. He's not waiting for you to just, like, keep on chasing him. And as the series progresses, like, Freddy Krueger becomes much more campy. He becomes a little bit more corny. He becomes, like, not really that intimidating. He just comes off as, like, that weird guy at a party who just happens to kill you. And but here, he's, like, pretty terrifying. Like, this is a guy, like, I would not want to stand right next to. And he is, like, really scary. He has the ability to, like, really just go after people. And he's not even on screen that much. It's kind of almost like, I want to say, like, Darth Vader. Like, Darth Vader does not appear that much. He has, like, 12 minutes of screen time overall. And Hannibal Lecter had, like, literally, like, 24 minutes of, like, long movies, that is. And here, even though it's not that long, I believe he has, like, that much, like about 12 to 15 minutes, or it could even be a lot shorter, give or take. But it works well enough, like where you don't need to see him that much because you're already kind of freaked out by him because he has shown like what he can do, like Darth Vader in Star Wars. Like he's shown what he was able to do, and Hannibal Lecter, he's shown what he was able to do in just a short amount of time that you see him. And I like villains like that because they make me more like terrified. They make me more afraid of them. And the thing is, like how Freddy Krueger is portrayed, I like how he is because he comes off as like a guy who just messes with you, and he waits till you just can't take anymore and you just have to sleep. And that's what he preys on, and that's how he gets you. He gets you in your sleep. Freddy Krueger has had like he has appeared in like video games. He has appeared in like so many different things. It's ridiculous. In the film itself, like, I really think the acting is good. The direction's amazing. The writing's good. Wes Craven, if you know a lot about Wes Craven, you'll know that he did, like, Scream. He did, like, Wishmaster. I like Wishmaster, personally. But the thing is, Wes Craven kind of has, like, a weird thing for faces, like, being, like, ripped off. And I always find that kind of creepy, because, like, there's a scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, like, where a face gets ripped off, and I'm like, ugh. And I just don't like that. And as like when you go like along like what it Wes Craven even like was stated, he, like I said in the beginning, he did not really like how he had to change the ending. Heather Lampkin does a great job. Johnny Depp does a great job. The kills are amazing. And overall the film, I feel like I'm going to give this film an amazing. I really like this. I like watching this like every Halloween. Now, the sequels, not so much. The sequel I really like watching out of this is actually Dream Warrior. But honestly, you can just watch the first one, and you can be like, I really liked it. I bought like this because it was really cheap. And the first film, like, that's how like I got like a lot of box sets. People are like, oh, why don't you just get like just a single film? And I said, sometimes the box set's cheaper. And I have seen all these. Wrong side. I have seen all these, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. There's like 7 movies in here. And counting a TV series and Freddy vs. Jason, I've seen like a little bit of the TV series, wasn't that big of a fan of it, and I saw Freddy vs. Jason, which basically was like our main topic like at lunch, like who would win, Freddy or Jason. And like kids did not know because we were like 8 years old and we did not know that there was a film called Freddy vs. Jason out. And I told them about it, and they're like, Oh. And I always liked it. I found it enjoyable. But overall, guys, I really think this is a film that you must check out or must watch. It might be like a little bit too campy at times. It could be like a little bit cringy, but like I met people who say it's probably. I heard people say this is like the worst horror film. They say Freddy Krueger is not like a convincing villain, but I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed watching it on the Halloween. Stay tuned for another review for a movie that's coming out soon, and I'm excited. That's all I have to say on Nightmare on Elm Street. I really enjoyed the movie. I feel like there are some things that are a little dated, but I don't care. And I can like watch it at, like all the time during Halloween. And overall, like guys, I've seen these, and I can say this is probably gonna be like a good series. The 1 and 3 are my personal favorites, but that's really it. But I guess you guys can check it out if you're interested in all the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you guys want to see more videos like this or any of my Let's Plays or other reviews, by all means, subscribe. If you guys want to share this with your friends and family, by all means, go ahead. If you guys want to ask, say, or request something, by all means, comment down below, and I will respond to it, and that's it. My name's Isaiah Hill. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Signing off.